never comes down. It's brewed with pure Rocky Mountain spring water and its own special high country barley.
It's not downstream beer.
There's no flatland beer.
It's not city beer.
It's Coors.
Taste the high country. Climb up to Coors.
It's action, color, raw nerve. It's man against beast. It's the roughest, toughest sport in the world. It's the 1980 Long Beach Indoor Rodeo. Tickets at all the usual places.
Long-acting neosynephrine 2 gives you fast, effective relief for up to 10 hours. Just one use of long-acting neosynephrine 2 gives you relief virtually all day or all night.
The final showdown tomorrow.
This is Channel 7, the #1 station for news and information in Southern California. Eyewitness News continues now with Jerry Dunphy, Christine Lund, Paul Moyer, Tony Hernandez, Dr. George, and the Eyewitness News team.
From the desert to the sea to all of Southern California, good evening. Here's the latest at 6. President Carter has declared 6 counties in Southern California disaster areas, making them eligible for federal aid. 36 persons have died. Hundreds of homes have been lost, thousands damaged, and more thousands of people evacuated after 9 days of relentless rains. The devastation is spread from Santa Barbara to Mexico, from beachfront homes in Malibu to desert homes in Riverside County. Federal aid will be available in Los Angeles, Orange, Riverside, San Bernardino, San Diego counties. Disaster aid offices will be set up in a few days to process applications for help. Christine.
More trouble right here. In fact, a National Guard detachment from San Francisco has been flown into Palm Springs to help out with their sudden and, of course, sodden emergency. High above this desert community, you can see it right here, the full impact of the flooding is very clear. At least 4 levees in the San Jacinto Mountains burst last night, sending torrents of water cascading into at least 4 foothill developments. Some 1,300 residents were evacuated immediately. They spent the night at Palm Springs High School, counting their blessings, really, because they were there to count them. Adding to the overall misery, though, a number of bridge washouts left a whole cluster of homes completely isolated. Most of the homeowners have enough water in their tanks to last them a week. So tonight, they are looking skywards, they are waiting, they are watching, they are hoping that it's going to be clear and dry. Right now, though, let's go to Paul Moyer at the live action camera desk for more. Paul.
Christine, it is very hard to compare conditions to say that one area is worse than another, but certainly San Jacinto has got to be among the worst areas right now, at least tonight. What happened is that some levees broke and water from the San Jacinto River overflow from Lake Hemet Dam rushing right down into San Jacinto. Thousands of people, we don't know yet how many have been evacuated. A number of evacuation centers have now been set up. One of them in Hemet nearby. John North of our Inland Empire Bureau is at Hemet, the evac center there tonight, with some of those people. John?
Paul, this is the medical evacuation center at the National Guard Armory in Hemet. There are 5 other evacuation centers. Just to be perfectly clear, so people don't panic here, the dam, Hemet Dam, has not broken. There's water coming over the spillway. The levee broke, and it has flooded San Jacinto. You can see some of it here, an incredible scene this morning. The water had an incredible force as it went rushing through large portions of San Jacinto. People were trapped on rooftops. You can see here a helicopter rescue that was repeated time and time again this morning for over a period of 4 or 5 hours. This is the evacuation center just a little bit earlier. People are still coming in here. They're coming in here because as of about 30 minutes ago, I am told that they are isolating most of San Jacinto. Most of the city is being isolated. People are being taken out who are still in there in large portions of it, and other people who are out of it already are not being allowed to go back in. That isn't to say that the thing is as serious as it was this morning. It's receded a little bit, but would you believe it's raining again in San Jacinto right now. They haven't been able to dike that levee. They haven't been able to build a rock wall to rechannel the river. And with the rain, anything could happen. And the Corps of Engineers tells me that they're not sure whether they're going to be able to get those rocks in there. This is a trailer park. Cameraman Scott Schulman and Steve Flight up to their armpits here. These people, you can see the force of the water here. Look at those men. Incredible. Incredible. And it's even more incredible that nobody has been seriously injured. No deaths are reported. Large trucks in many cases were used to bring people out. The water was so high that even some 4-wheel drives couldn't get in. As many as 4,000 people, perhaps many more. San Jacinto has 8,500 residents. And if they're isolating, as one man told me, a majority of the city, you're talking about a lot of people who are going to be homeless tonight. Helicopter evacuations that I said by the minute. there were some incredible scenes. The helicopter pilots, the National Guardsmen, the Hemet Search and Rescue. One lady we talked to earlier actually was washed out of her apartment. She was washed out of her apartment by a wall of water. 2 men rescued her and kept her from being swept down the road even further. Most of the people here at the Hemet Fairgrounds are being sent to 5 other evacuation centers tonight. They're in order of priority. This is going to be primarily a medical evacuation center, but if anybody out there in San Jacinto area is watching or has relatives, this is the central receiving point. This is where phone calls should be directed. The Red Cross is doing a magnificent job, and right now they're just watching the skies and hoping that it doesn't rain too much that they can get a hold on that levee. Back to you, or rather to Tawny Little, I'm sorry, and Altadena for an update.
Okay, John, a lot of people out here, residents I've talked to, are concerned about the Rubio Dam that is part of the Rubio debris basin, and I've been told they have nothing to worry about. This dam is in very good shape, no problem there. There are about 140 debris basins in the Southland. 50 of them are dangerously full, all full or nearly full, and that, of course, is a bad situation in a season of floods like this. The Rubio debris basin is a particularly critical one, though. They've been clearing it here, the flood control district has, since January, the January rains, and it seems to be a never-ending battle because the basin fills up faster than they can clear it out. They've been doing it around the clock here for the past week, weather permitting. Unfortunately, the weather hasn't cooperated all that much. I have Jim Noyes with me. He's the supervisor out here, and I'm wondering, why is this particular debris basin so critical?
Well, this one is critical because the canyon back here burned last September. So there's a lot of debris that comes off the hills that would not necessarily come if it had not been in a burned condition. There's a large area in Altadena and Pasadena below that is protected by the facility, and as you said, it's dangerously close to being full, so we have to clean it out.
What's the outlook?
Well, the outlook is pretty good. They're moving a lot of material right now. If the weather holds up, we'll be able to make pretty good progress on it. But there's just so much of the material, it's going to take a long time. We're concerned that if we get another rain tonight or something like that, we could get a lot more material flowing into the debris basin.
And that would mean a possible overflow. Any advice to the people that live around this debris basin?
The best advice we can offer is to pay attention to the weather, see what's going on with the weather, listen to the news stations and so forth. If conditions do become critical, we will notify the Sheriff's Department, and they may be in touch with the people if they think some extraordinary actions are needed.
Be ready perhaps with sandbags.
The best thing to do is to get the sandbags ready now, as early as you possibly can.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Larry Carroll is up in the skies with our chopper. He has an overview. Larry.
Hello, Tony and everyone. We are at the mouth of Topanga Canyon. We've been traveling down the canyon here, and the road is just completely gone in a lot of sections. I've got some information here for people who are traveling this evening. Topanga Canyon Boulevard is open only, though, to residents from the valley side of the canyon. This end is just totally closed. You're looking now at the intersection of Topanga Canyon and Pacific Coast Highway. Pacific Coast Highway is technically closed except to residents from Santa Monica all the way north to Point Wainimi, except to residents, and those are the cars you see there being checked at the checkpoint by CHP and sheriff's officers here at Topanga and Pacific Coast Highway, and it's open to them for transit between the hours of 5 and 7 p.m. tonight. Elsewhere, as we travel north toward Malibu, Interstate 5 is closed north and south from State Route 99 to Highway 166. And there is at the same time a little problem on the Ventura Freeway. The transition road from the westbound Ventura to the southbound Glendale Freeway, the number 2 lane is closed. There's been a big mudslide there, and there is only 1 lane for travel remaining, and it is very slow and go. So if you have folks who are coming home by that way and you're expecting them at a certain time, they're going to be late because there is mud there. Otherwise, yesterday at this time we were up at Pacific Coast Highway. It was rotten up here. Today it's still rotten up here. So unless you live here, once again, you can forget about using Pacific Coast Highway, and that, I'm sure, down the road is going to have a lot of ramification for beach travel after all this whole debacle is all over. As you can see the horizon now, as we swing out a little bit to the west, you can see a lot of blue sky, which is an indication that what Dr. George said is pretty much right on. It looks as though we are clear of precipitation, at least for the time being. Paul, back to you in the studio.
Okay, thank you much, Larry. Larry Carroll enjoying, if that's the proper word, better flying conditions tonight than he had last night. A great job by Larry. Clear one thing up, okay? We said that some water from the Hemet Dam was coming down into San Jacinto. We understand the Hemet Dam has held. That dam is not broken, just a little overflow. Little clarification. Jerry, back
All
to
right,
you.
Paul, two other communities involved here, too. Animals as well as people are suffering as the result of the heavy rain. County animal control officers have been rescuing horses stranded by floods, and reporter Angela Black has more about that.
Helpless animals displaced by recent storms are being housed at centers throughout the Los Angeles area. Most of the 90 or so rescued horses from Rosemead County are being cared for here at the Sunset Stables in South El Monte. They were found this weekend literally floundering in floodwaters along the Whittier Narrows.
In some areas, the horses have been up to and above their bellies in the water. A lot of the water has gone down now, but the water's going to come back. Clouds are coming, and it's just going to get worse.
This same area has suffered 2 similar floods in previous years. County officials think it's unsafe. People who want to claim their horses are being asked to bring pictures, bills of sales, or other identification. About 10 or 15 horses have not been claimed so far. Also, there are 4 unclaimed horses at the LA County Animal Control Shelter in Baldwin Park. So if yours is not one of those at Sunset Stable, maybe he's one of these here. Angela Black, Channel 7 Eyewitness News in Baldwin Park.
Animals really do have a uniquely difficult time when we have a crisis like this. In fact, for the 3rd time this week in this story, Los Angeles County Fire Department, helicopter crews, and animal control officers joined forces today to help some helpless storm victims, domestic animals. The county crews packed hundreds of pounds of horse feed, of dog food, and other supplies aboard their helicopters, and then they staged a mercy airlift that included stops in Calabasas, Big Tujunga Canyon, and other rural areas, many parts of which have been isolated by flooding. Eyewitness News went along, and at one stop, a rancher told us that the airlifts undoubtedly saved the lives of 40 purebred horses whose feed supply had just been washed away a few days ago. Animal control officers say that they are ready for more airlifts just as long as animal owners need their help. And that's a very comforting thing for a lot of people to know about. Some Pacific Palisades residents whose backyards and garages just slid away last night say the city has been promising them for 15 years that the canyon area that caused that problem would be filled and the potential for mudslides would be eliminated. Well, as Barney Morris reports now, their homes may be eliminated.
Landslides in Potrero Canyon of Pacific Palisades sent backyards, garages, and parts of houses crashing to the canyon floor last night, and the homes may be next. Alice Twitchell's garage is gone, and she's moving out after living here 10 years. She says she and her neighbors have tried for years to get the city to fill the canyon and put in storm drains. Now, 18 families along the canyon have filed a class action lawsuit against the city.
I'm tired of fighting the city. I'm tired of writing letters. I think from now on, I'll let my attorney handle it. We have a class action suit that will begin against the city very soon. We filed a claim against the city saying to them, you're responsible for this. We think it's partly your problem, and it's your canyon that is substandard, not our homes. So we think we're due some compensation.
We have a letter dated October 11th of '79 from the mayor of Los Angeles, Tom Bradley. Thank you for sending me a copy of your letter and so on and so forth. I am very hopeful that the report will contain not only the pertinent facts, but will give positive recommendations on how the department might assist the homeowners in alleviating their problems. It appears today it's getting a little late. Their problems are going right down the canyon. This is Barney Morris reporting for Channel 7 Eyewitness News, Pacific Palisades.
Not as bad as they thought in Malibu Canyon, where residents there were worried about the storm, or strong surf, I should say, down at Malibu that had been forecast and that has already eaten away about 8 feet of sand beneath the homes there. But it didn't materialize, their worries today. Homeowners and road crews took advantage of the break in the storm to clean up mud and to get ready for the next rains and the floods and the slides that they may bring. They have to worry about the crumbling cliffs on one side and the ocean on the other. The National Guard is on hand to bring in supplies and to help sandbagging operations there. In San Clemente, dozens of persons were evacuated during the night from the 800 block of Camino de los Martes. Orange County reporter Jim Ryerson reports.
Tons of adobe mud paid a midnight visit to this San Clemente neighborhood, leaving a sticky mess through dozens of homes. Several factors combined to cause the mudslide, heavy rains triggering it all, of course. Then a natural earth catch basin filled and overflowed. Residents were attempting all night long to stay ahead of the flooding, but in the end, had to evacuate.
We had to evacuate last night. We had to be out again. We're just getting our personal things, throwing them in plastic bags. We have no time to get boxes or nothing. Just leave all the furniture and hope it's here when we come back.
Some of the residents blamed recent construction for the sliding, charging that newly graded hillsides didn't absorb the way they should. But others said it was just the volume of the rain, pointing out the area has flooded before, only never this bad. And the people living in that mobile home park have another reason for apprehension as their hillside starts to fall away. This golf course behind them continues to erode, and the water just keeps on coming. Jim Ryerson, Channel 7 Eyewitness News, San Clemente.
There have been rumors in the area that tap water is contaminated. Officials, however, say that although the water is cloudy, discolored, it is safe for drinking. It is not contaminated.
Okay, people are pretty sensitive to these weather forecasts. Probably you, like me, we've heard that we're going to get a good walloping tonight by rain, but we see blue skies, too. What does this mean, Dr. George? What's going to happen to us?
It means just what you think it means.
I don't.
It means we're getting a little rain yet tonight, and that'll probably be the last one of the series for us because a ridge is developing over the area. Come on, Dolores Thompson, who was just seen cleaning out her living room there, you're going to be glad to see this. Look at what this picture was taken, at 4:45, 4:45, an hour and a half ago, and you can see the beginnings, the first clouds coming in of this storm. But you notice we've got a nice curve on it. There's a delightful ridge building up underneath it. One last shot just to show what we expect to have by tomorrow. You can see that the front will go through. We'll have the whole story. We'll have the whole story when we come back for our regular segment.
Hate to let you in on this, George, but there really is more to just news than weather, okay? To prove it, Russ Nichols investigates charges of bribery in California's smog testing program. We'll have that when we come back.
If you like donuts, Winchell's Donut House has something you'll love. 50 cents off any dozen Winchell's donuts. 50 cents off Winchell's chocolate donuts, vanilla donuts, cherry donuts. 50 cents off Winchell's sprinkled donuts, French donuts, raspberry-filled donuts. 50 cents off Winchell's raised donuts, glazed donuts, plain donuts, fancy donuts. 50 cents off any dozen Winchell's donuts. Anytime, any day, at any Winchell's.
That used to be us, always rushing. Right. And that used to be us, always standing in line. Right. On TWA, we got our return trip boarding passes on our flight out, so we go straight to the gate. Right. We even reserved our favorite seats in advance. Right. And nobody can get you through the airport faster than TWA. Right. Since we have our seats together, we can work together. Wrong.
You're gonna like us, TWA.
Hurry up, Mabel. We got to get these eggs to the market.
Introducing the 1980 Renault car. It gives you great performance without sacrificing comfort. It has rack and pinion steering and front-wheel drive for great handling, and four-wheel independent suspension to keep things comfortable inside, even when it's bumpy outside. All with estimated 28-mile-per-gallon economy.
We made it.
Renault car. At Renault, we build more into economy cars than just economy.
This is a Mark C. Bloom salesman. This is another tire store salesman. They both know tires, but there's one difference. The other salesman sells one brand of tire. The Bloom salesman sells Goodrich, Michelin, Pirelli, Uniroyal, Dunlop, and many others. If one brand isn't right for you, he'll tell you. He knows another one of his brands is. If the other salesman's one brand isn't right for you, do you think he'll tell you? You can't choose the right tire if you don't have a choice. Mark C. Bloom.
Every time a used car is sold in most parts of Southern California, it has to undergo a smog test at an approved testing station. All of these are operated by Hamilton Test Systems. In recent months, 7 on Your Side reporter Russ Nichols has broadcast charges that the testing was not effective and that cars with inoperative pollution controls were passing. Now Russ has uncovered evidence of more problems with the Hamilton testing procedures.
Right, Jerry, more problems. Recently, a citizen called me complaining that he had been solicited for a bribe at a Hamilton test center. He did not want to be publicly identified. He was trying to get a smog certificate on a van.
Went down the third time, and then as I was driving in, the person doing the key punch that you hand your remit papers to, she says, "This your third time in here?" I says, "Yeah, it sure is," and I'm getting kind of mad. She said, "Well, if you'd offered us some money last time, we'd have we'd have passed you." And well, what could I say? I was kind of indignantly mad.
Is that the way she said it? If you'd offered us some money?
Yeah. Indicate
any amount of money?
No, she didn't indicate an amount, but imagine it would have had to be more than a couple of dollars. And it just.
What did you say to her when she said that?
Well, I told her no, that I was going to do it legally because I wanted the truck legal. She just acted like, hey, you're a fool. You've been here 3 times. If you'd have given me some money, you'd have been out of here once.
We have no proof that anyone has taken a bribe. We have had some allegations. We've investigated them thoroughly, and on some instances, we have terminated employees.
Do you know how many? How many employees have been fired?
Several.
Is there an exact figure?
It's internal company records.
Have you informed law enforcement authorities about these firings?
Yes, and any time that there is some question about responsibilities, we go immediately to the state, and we notify them, and we conduct a thorough investigation.
But Doty points out the old Blue Shield station system had its own problems.
Yes, we have problems, and on occasion we've had to deal with those. But I think you have to put that in context with the previous program. There were documented instances of counterfeit certificates, of work not being done properly, people being overcharged, undercharged, a number of problems. I think those problems have been reduced substantially by this type of operation.
The citizen is vague on the dollar amount, you notice, and on details of how he was allegedly solicited. However, Hamilton program manager Jim Norman has told us that 4 employees were fired under suspicion of taking bribes in recent months. Even though the cases were referred to the state, no prosecutions have taken place. But Hamilton says it continues to monitor its employees closely. You can write me here at 7 on Your Side. I'm Russ Nichols, and by the way, different subject. Yesterday, we gave you Ralph's corporate phone number, 637-1101. That's a 213 area number. Don't call it in the 714 area. That gets you Dewey's Food to Go in Orange. Chris.
Oh, dear. I won't ask what happened beyond that.
I don't think Dewey is laughing.
He's probably not.
Unless you want to talk to Dewey's Food to Go in Orange, of course.
That's right. Well, it's all straightened out now. Thank you. Next up, Paul Moyer has the Eyewitness News Insta-poll on Governor Brown's popularity, the way it stands right now. And Wayne Satz continues his in-depth report about California's shadow governor.
I give my family food for thought, along with breakfast. Joe's world is business. Ellen's into politics. Gary needs a job. Sports for Pete. Janie's getting married. We all live in the same world, but we have different interests. Whatever yours may be, you'll find just about anything you want to know in the Los Angeles Times. Your world. It's all here.
Oranje Boom has landed here from Holland where they know their beer. From the land where tulips bloom, they're bringing us a beer called Boom. Oranje Boom, hooray!
You know how good Holland's beer is, and Oranje Boom has been a premier beer in Holland since 1671.
Oranje Boom, hooray! Oranje Boom, hooray! Oranje Boom, hooray! Oranje Boom, hooray!
Imported Oranje Boom is making a big noise in America. Just ask for a bottle of Boom.
Oranje Boom, hooray!
Hey, how was bowling?
I'd rather be eating.
A bottomless pit. Grabbing a quick burger?
We're getting Kentucky Fried Chicken.
The Colonel only uses fresh quality chicken, like I do.
And the way hamburger prices are going, it's nice to get a good, sensible meal at a good, sensible price.
Hey, I'm a going boy.
It's so nice, nice to feel. It's so good about a meal. So good about Kentucky Fried Chicken.
lot of people are using incentives to unload some real big cars, but they could guzzle up the money you save. What you need is gas mileage. Like these 1979 Fiats. Now, Fiat is offering instant incentives, up to $500 more off the Fiat Strada, $500 off the X19, $300 off the Brava. Fiats offer top mileage. Why buy a gas hog when you can buy a Fiat and get an instant incentive?
Test drive Fiat now at your local Fiat dealer.
Most of us have spent the last couple of weeks trying to survive the disastrous rainstorms. Governor Brown has continued his presidential campaign in New Hampshire. How has that affected his popularity here in Southern California, his absence? That's the subject of today's Instapoll, compiled by Teichner Associates and reported now by Paul Moyer. Paul?
All right, Jerry, even though Governor Brown made quite a show of flying into Los Angeles a couple of days ago to sign a state of emergency declaration, the fact that he has been away from California so much recently does appear to have hurt him. Now, we asked Southern California people to rate the governor's job performance in light of the amount of time he has spent out of the state of California on his presidential campaign. By a margin of more than 2 to 1, those polled gave the governor a negative rating. Less than 1 in 10 thought he was doing an excellent job, and a little more than 1 in 5 said he was doing a good job. Now, this contrasts with nearly a third who rated him not very good, and added to another third who thought he was doing a poor job. The governor does appear to do somewhat better with the women we polled, with 1 in 4 saying he deserves a good rating, but his showing still there is poor. In all fairness, we should point out that the way the question was phrased emphasized how much the governor has been out of the state of California, but a sampling of the people we talk with after the poll was taken shows a fair amount of anger with Governor Brown.
Campaigning, so what can you do, you know?
I disagree. I think if you are governor of a state, that you belong back where the disaster is, and that this is where your priorities should be. And you have millions of dollars of devastation and people who need food and supplies and ways of getting out of their homes. And you shouldn't be running around Berlin, New Hampshire and negotiating when you belong here.
I think that's fine, because I'm for Governor Brown. I think he's great in everything he does. I approve of so far.
Well, I feel he should be home taking care of business, and, you know, this is a disaster, and a lot of people are going to need his help and would appreciate, I think, if he were here. And I think maybe at election time they'll be aware of this and remember.
And remember, according to Teichner's analysis tonight, maybe Governor Brown should return to California and trade in his New Hampshire snowshoes for a bailing bucket if he wants to do well in the California primary upcoming. I'll have more on the Instapoll on Governor Brown tonight on Eyewitness News at 11 o'clock. Christine.
One very interesting factor that we've been exploring this week as it relates to Jerry Brown is that how he does in the polls depends, at least in part, at the man that we've been looking here this week at. That's Gray Davis, of course, because Davis, as the governor's chief of staff, is the man that Brown designates as his stand-in while he's off campaigning, as he's been doing so much. Now, even when Brown is in the state, Gray Davis frequently is the man who faces the reporters, acts as the administration's front man, in a sense. You've seen him a million times on this newscast. Wayne Satz spent a lot of time talking with him. Wayne.
Christine, Gray Davis is a loyal soldier in the Brown administration. An important part of his job is to put the best possible face on what the Brown administration does. He talks about that task in this clip tonight. Keep in mind that we talked just after the presidential caucuses in Maine, and Jerry Brown had just claimed victory after coming in third with 14% of the vote.
You don't want to BS people.
You don't want to BS people, Gray Davis says. But here is a very glib Columbia Law School lawyer who spent the last 6 years of his life advancing the views of another glib lawyer named Jerry Brown, and always with an unshakable confidence, each time sounding like a man who's very sure that, once again, Jerry Brown has done exactly the right thing.
People have to think somebody knows what's going on, somebody's in charge, and if the people at the top of government throw up their hands and say, geez, I don't have a clue, it's pretty discouraging.
So sometimes that's an illusion, but it's purposefully done to give us confidence.
That's right. I mean, all those drill sergeants, they probably come home at night and have as many anxieties and terrors as you and I have, but they sure don't let you know that at boot camp or something else. And that's part of leadership. Part of leadership is rising above your own fears, your own inadequacies, and showing the presence and the strength necessary to make people follow your example.
All right, true or false? Give you a quotation. In politics, the most important thing is not how things are, but how things appear to be.
True.
Agree or disagree? True.
It's a thin line between between reality and perception, Just look at the main caucuses recently. 3 people claiming victory. Now, to the untrained observer, you would think it's pretty clear who won, the person who came in first. But no, what also matters is how you did juxtaposed to the expectations for your candidacy. So there, the perception almost translated into a reality for Kennedy and Brown. They were perceived as doing better than was expected. Therefore, in some sense, they won, even though the literalists, fundamentalists of this world would say, hey, Carter won, what's there to talk about?
Some would say that that was a unique Gray Davis skill, to see a victory where others see a defeat. And then maybe you share that with Jerry Brown. The Maine caucuses is one example.
There's nobody can see victory and defeat more than Jerry Brown. I've often said if the world blew up tomorrow and he was the lone survivor, he would say, well, it's a chance to start over. There's no one that, you can't get that man down. I mean, he has unrelenting optimism and confidence.
Did you pick that up from him?
A little bit, yeah.
When a Supreme Court decision comes out and it says, yeah, Mike Kerb's acting governor when Jerry's away, everybody, the widespread perception is that's a defeat for Jerry, but nah, Gray Davis is quite sure that that's a victory somehow.
Well, the Supreme Court did say that the governor's judge, even I have trouble on that one.
In all fairness, that court decision did come out in favor of Brown's judicial appointment over Kerb's, but on the more important level, it said Kerb was right. He is governor when Brown's away. But many will tell you that while Kerb has the legal title, the man you've just been looking at has the real authority, and that's why we've been talking to him. Back to you.
Okay. Next up, Dr. George comes back with a complete look at the weather picture for Southern California. One more time. It's important.
Now, a new kind of sale in furniture and appliances. McMahon's 20% bonus sale. Whatever you buy in furniture or appliances, McMahon's furniture stores will give you free another 20% in furniture or accessories. Choose your own bonus merchandise from living room, dining room, or bedroom furniture, or from McMahon's wide selection of accessories. For example, buy a bedroom set, get a mattress free. Get your 20% bonus now through Sunday at 30 McMahon's furniture stores in Los Angeles and Orange counties.
Hello, I'd like to tell you about some of my best shots, the kind I take with the most innovative camera, Konica FS1. Konica makes 35mm easier. Look, just drop in the film, close, and the Konica loads itself. It's the world's first camera to do that. And Konica does away with separate gadgets. With its built-in auto winder, you can take picture after picture. Clear, sharp, easy. Give it your best shot. Konica.
In one sentence, how would you characterize Coast Federal?
The best of the bunch.
Well, the basic difference is the people.
I come here because I get treated real good. I knew that I would get what I wanted immediately here.
Every time I come in, people are so nice to me.
I do not have too much money to spend, and so what I want it in a very safe account.
The word you would use to describe Coast Federal Savings is what?
Moreish.
Which means what?
I like more of it.
Coast Federal Savings. Dogs stay for mainstay.
It's not dinner time yet, Mike.
Dogs stay for mainstay.
Mike, go play.
Dogs stay for mainstay.
Dogs stay for new Mainstay dog food because it tastes so good. New Mainstay from Purina is the only dry dog food with tasty meat and bone meal and vegetable flavor pieces. Flavor you can actually see.
Dogs stay for mainstay.
You'll have to wait till tomorrow, Mike.
Dogs like it so much, dogs stay for mainstay.
As we promised, we're going to check back in with Dr. George right now on that weather.
All right, there still is the chance of, not the chance, there's still the probability of rain yet tonight, and could be locally heavy in the mountains. We've still got our flash flood warnings out, and our official forecast, oh, what a beautiful sight. Love clear skies. Our official forecast calls for locally heavy showers with a chance of thunderstorms tonight. Showers decreasing Friday morning with partial clearing in the afternoon. Fair on Saturday, and I hope fair on Sunday as well. But we can expect local gusty winds 15 to 30 miles an hour tonight and tomorrow morning. Continued mild, and it looks as though it's going to be a great weekend ahead for skiers all over Southern California because they've got snow piling up out there in the mountains. This is going to be one of the finest weekends for skiers that we've had all year. The flash flood watch is still a very real thing, friends. Don't think that it's all over, even though we've got beautiful weather waiting for us. Here's our numbers now. The storm, 69 hundredths of an inch up to 4 o'clock. The season is 2175. Normal is 983. It was a 56 and a 67 today. We're expecting 57 and a 67 tomorrow. Same temperatures. Presently it's a 61. That's 16 Celsius. Relative humidity 67%, and the barometer is 30.3 and rising. Surface still up and still plenty high. Come on over to our satellites. This is the one that we showed at the beginning of the 6 o'clock, and you can see that the clouds are just beginning to come in over us. But the next one is the interesting one, because this is our 500 millibar forecast for Sunday morning. And you can see we're well under that ridge by then, and that's going to be meaning a great day. But people say, what about the other storms that are out there? This is the one coming in tonight, and there's a big one out here. But with that ridge over here, it'll ride up and over. Look at our national picture down here, and you can see that we've got rain showers all across the southern, the Gulf states, and snow across the Great Lakes and up across the Canadian border as well. And that's it, kids.
Okay,
Good
Dr.
news.
George, thank you.
News.
And when Eyewitness News continues on this Thursday evening, Ted Dawson, of course, will have a late report from Lake Placid on today's figure skating competition. Dr. William Rader investigates the problems and solutions to the disease of overeating. And next up, Bruce Hershenson comments on the proposed windfall profits tax on oil companies.
The most remarkable thing about the Sharp EL 1182 calculator isn't that it's small enough for home or office, or has a fluorescent digital display, or does double the work of some calculators. The most remarkable thing isn't even that it has a memory or a paper tape printout. The most remarkable thing about the Sharp EL 1182 is that it's at Gemco for only $69.96.
Perfection. You can experience it in the superbly rewarding flavor of Kirin beer, the official imported beer of the Winter Olympics.
For years, we've been spending a lot of hard-earned American dollars on small foreign cars. But now it's time we got a little American spirit. The American Spirit gets better gas mileage than a Toyota Celica, weighs hundreds of pounds more than a VW Rabbit or Honda Civic, yet lists hundreds of dollars less than a Datsun 310 or Subaru DL. It's about time America got a little American Spirit. The 1980 Spirit from American Motors. See it at your California AMC dealer.
How many cold tablets do you take a day? 4? 6? 6? Take one Contac instead. Clears your congestion all day. Contac.
House and Senate negotiators are getting closer to a final agreement on the oil windfall profits tax. President Carter today said he'll approve the measure, which could result in tax cuts for individuals and corporations amounting to $136 billion. Still ahead for the negotiators, a program to provide assistance for poor people suffering from high energy prices. Earlier today, they agreed to exempt all Indian-owned oil from the windfall profits tax. Bruce Hershenson has some timely thoughts on the meaning of this so-called windfall. Bruce?
Jerry, it's stealing. And it's the cleverest thievery ever devised by government. They're stealing money right out of your wallet or purse. The one saving grace of that thievery, if thievery can have a saving grace, it can't, but we were assured that the windfall profit tax would largely fund a synthetic fuel program, remember? To help solve our energy needs. Well, now the House and Senate conferees decided not to do that, but instead to give Americans a tax cut with some of the money received. Sound generous? We're being played for absolute saps in an election year. If you examine it, this is what it really means. We'll pay more, a lot more at the gasoline pump. A great deal of that money will go to Washington, and a little of it will come back to us in the form of a tax cut. So we thank Congress for giving us a portion of the money that was ours in the first place while they keep the rest. It's like someone saying, give me $2. You do it, and in a year he gives you $1 back and you think he's very kind. You think he's very kind because you don't realize that he's the same person who received your $2 a year ago. He was in disguise then. It's exactly what the government is doing to you. What's the disguise that the government wears? A gasoline station uniform. They've made the service station attendant an involuntary tax collector for them. But first, they've encouraged us to hate him and to hate the oil companies. From the White House, through the Department of Energy, through the Capitol building, they've done it successfully. No matter the facts, no one listens. No one really cares that major oil companies have invested more than their profits back into our energy needs. Now, how can anyone truthfully ask more than that? What do we want? It makes no difference. And no matter that they're the only Americans alive who can explore and dig and refine oil. No matter. We won't let them do it, so we pay OPEC. We want to hate the oil companies, and we won't stop. It's become a carefully taught national obsession. No matter that we're even giving up a free market economy, our very system, giving it up to hate them. We've been taught recently that stealing is okay if it's from the oil companies. After all, it's windfall money from decontrol. Well, theft is not okay, no matter who it's from or why. And advancing the decontrol argument, that's just like saying that because government forced controls on them during the past 9 years, now government should reap the profits of decontrolling them. Where's the logic in that? Government's objective is that government will take money from you through oil and at the same time void any chance of this nation becoming self-sufficient and independent. All for votes, all for greed, all by appealing to what they hope is our sense of envy and anger over oil company profits. And they've won. By this step, the oil companies certainly haven't won. The gasoline stations certainly haven't won. And you're going to lose more money every time you go to the pump. Who gains? Where's that money of yours? In Washington. But they'll give you a little of it back just before the election so you can express your appreciation quickly at the ballot box. Chris?
Bruce, thank you. Next up, Tony Hernandez has all the sports for us, and Ted Dawson will be reporting to us from Lake Placid on today's figure skating competition. Stay tuned for that. We'll be right back in a moment.
Next up with Match Game PM.
I've just enlisted in the old folks' army. In our army, you get a medal just for blanking.
Gene Rayburn welcomes Lee Merriweather, Bill Cullen, Betty White, and Bill Daly to the regular Match Game group.
Her nose looked like my blank.
Watch it, kid. I'll beat you up in the parking lot.
Catch it all on the next Match Game PM.
Control yourself. Control yourself.
Wow, look at that, Dad. A 747.
And that's what I'm flying. It's an L-1011. Want to have a look inside?
Really?
If you like wide bodies, you're going to like TWA. Because the only wide bodies we fly are 747s and L-1011s, the ones people like most.
Mom, we better get off.
Happy birthday, Tommy. We're going with Dad.
You're gonna like us, TWA. You're gonna like us.
Mazola has something that no other leading oil has. That's because Mazola is the only one that's made from corn. Not sunflowers, not soybeans, but corn. Mazola corn oil is 100% corn oil and nothing else. Look, you know Mazola's low in saturated fat. You know it has no cholesterol. You know no oil tastes lighter than Mazola. But in case you didn't know where all that goodness comes from, here's your answer. Golden American corn.
Hurry, hurry to the Irvine Auto Center's Circus of Savings. Right now, inflation-defying specials on Fords, Dodges, Chevrolets, Lincolns, Triumphs, Hondas. The Irvine Auto Center is the convenient way to shop. 4 dealerships, 9 makes, thousands of new and used cars, trucks, and vans all in one location. Come to the Circus of Savings. Win tickets to the fabulous Circus Vargas. Save and win at the Irvine Auto Center where the Santa Ana and San Diego freeways meet.
Yesterday we were trying to think of a nickname. Tony said, we got to think of something to call like your Eric Hyden. Today he thought of it. It's obvious. Eric the Great.
Eric the Great, Eric the Conqueror. We can go on and on. You know when the last time was that this country won as many as 4 gold medals in a Winter Olympics? 1952. Today, Eric Hyden of the U.S. equaled that mark all by himself. What more can you say about this 21-year-old wonder from Wisconsin? The guy's a bullet. Not only did he win his 4th gold medal in today's 1,500-meter skating event, he set his 4th Olympic record doing so, turning in a time of 1 minute 55.44 seconds. What's more, against the best athletes in the world in this sport, none of the results has even been close. His next goal, the penultimate, the 10,000 meters, and a 5th gold medal, never before done in the Winter Games. In women's figure skating, Linda Fratiani's short program carried her a long way today. Ted Dawson was on hand.
Local ice skating favorite Linda Fratiani went into this afternoon's short program ranked 3rd after yesterday's compulsory figures. She knew going in she'd need an almost flawless performance to have any chance of moving into position to win a gold medal. She got it.
She did the best of anyone today. I know it wasn't as good as she can do, but she did win the short program, I'm sure, and it's going to be very close. I don't know if it was enough to move her up into 1st place yet, but the long program is her strong point, and she looks good.
Do you think she'll win?
Oh, if they all skate the long program as well as they skated the short program, I'm sure Linda will win, because Annette was not quite on today.
When the scores came out, Linda's were the highest of the day. 5.7s, 5.8s, even 1.59. Considerably better than her main rival, Annette Potch, who had built up a big lead after the compulsories. But Linda's scores weren't quite good enough to move her into 1st place yet. If it is to happen, it'll have to happen Saturday night in the long program. LA's other favorite, Lisa Marie Allen, is a long way out of the medal race after a program judged primarily with 5.5s and 5.6s. But Dorothy Hamill still thinks she's got a shot.
She skated nicely today. I thought she should have gotten better marks than she got. But she has a chance for a medal. Yeah, they all do. It's pretty close in there.
With half of the overall judging in the women's figure skating completed here at the Olympic Fieldhouse, Linda may still be in 2nd place, but I think she proved this afternoon that she is indeed a world champion. From the Winter Olympics in Lake Placid, this is Ted Dawson reporting for Channel 7 Eyewitness Sports.
And the women figure skaters have one more phase to complete, the most important one, the free skate on Saturday. The men's free skate is going on right now. And on the slopes of Whiteface Mountain today, the Wenzel family kept pace with the Hayden family. Hanni Wenzel of Liechtenstein brought that tiny country its 1st gold medal ever in the women's giant slalom. Hanni has also won a silver, as has her brother Andreas, giving Liechtenstein total national population 27,000, an average of 1 Olympic medal per 9,000 people, and that's got to be some kind of record, huh? East Germany picked up its 7th gold today by winning the women's 5-kilometer cross-country skiing relay race. The Soviet Union still has the most golds, although the USSR and East Germany are equal in total medals with 18 each. And the U.S. there, well, we have Eric Heiden. The next step has been taken for the Oakland Raiders to move here. U.S. District Court Judge Harry Pregerson here in Los Angeles today awarded a preliminary injunction barring the National Football League from enforcing its 3/4 rule in transferring a franchise. In essence, the Raiders could move here right now unless the NFL counterfiles for and is awarded an injunction stopping such a move. The NFL had no comment today. County Supervisor Kenneth Hahn said the Raiders will announce that they are transferring their franchise to Los Angeles within 48 hours. Yeah, they got to play golf out at Riviera Country Club today. Rain did not cancel the opening round of the Glen Campbell Los Angeles Open, and Tom Weiskopf owns the lead with a 4-under par 67. The going was a little bit sloppy for people like Johnny Miller here, who's in a group tied for 3rd at 69, a group that includes Don January, Calvin Pete, Danny Edwards, Johnny Miller, Alan Tapey, Tom Watson, and Bobby Watkins, Lanny's brother. In 2nd place, 1 stroke out of the lead, is Bobby Walzell, and the leader here is Tom Weiskopf, and our cameraman, Howard Moorhead, caught Weiskopf perhaps missing his only putt of the day. He had a fine round and is in front with a 67. And that's sports. And we look forward to more coverage of the Olympics tonight and the rest of this week.
Tony, we'll have it. Exciting stuff.
Okay.
A late-breaking story, and we have that right now. Live, we go to Paul Moyer.
Jerry, we have a very dangerous situation going on right now in downtown Los Angeles. About 20 minutes ago, the city fire department reported to us a major explosion at the Knudsen Creamery at 231 East 21st Street. We have our Eyewitness News helicopter up there now. These are live pictures. Don't know how much you can see. The explosion again in fire about 20 minutes ago. There is an ammonia leak, we understand now. Late information tells us 5 ambulances were sent to the scene. Fire department units are there now, others on their way to the scene along with the police. There are 6 people hurt, we understand. 6 civilians hurt in this. We don't know how badly. With the ammonia leak, you might think of evacuation. You're probably right. They probably are going to have to evacuate that area on East 21st Street. That's south of the Civic Center. Cross Street is Santee. I believe it's somewhere near the Santa Monica Freeway. We don't know exactly yet how much danger there really is. We don't know what caused it. But again, it happened about 20 minutes ago. 231 East 21st Street, an explosion, fire. There is an ammonia leak right there, and people might have to be evacuated. We'll have a full story on it tonight, Jerry, at 11 o'clock. Back to you.
Up to the minute on that right now. And next up, Dr. William Rader has a dramatic report on a lifelong program to help people who overeat. Stay with us for that.
When you've got a headache, what does extra strength mean to you?
It means a crummy headache won't ruin your day. It means Excedrin.
Extra strength means relief is inside. Extra strength means Excedrin.
Extra strength means not feeling the pain anymore. Extra strength means Excedrin.
Excedrin, the extra strength pain reliever. More total strength than any regular strength aspirin or non-aspirin tablet. Excedrin, for millions of people.
Extra strength means Excedrin.
Some people think the speed limit is also the age limit of a safe driver. They're wrong. Colonial Penn knows that, my car insurance company. They specialize in insurance for people 50 and over. And because I qualify, Colonial Penn won't ever drop me for having an accident or making a claim. Guaranteed.
That's a good feeling.
Ensure the best years of your life with Colonial Penn.
The 1980 Subaru GL wagon has an intelligent profile. Its downsloping lines help slice the wind and handle the road. Our new wagon is bigger on room and comfort. On its dash is an electronic monitor that shows if a door is open or shut, whether a brake light is out, and if brake fluid is low. The interior is handsome, high and wide, so it carries a lot. And our high gas mileage will carry a lot farther. Subaru, inexpensive and built to stay that way.
Here she comes. We've landed the big one, the big H-Salt Double Catch. A tender fish fillet, 3 golden breaded shrimp, a generous helping of chips, plus onion rings. A very special meal at a very special price. The H-Salt Double Catch. Catch it now at H-Salt. Don't miss the boat. Don't miss the catch.
Available at all 8 salts displaying the Double Catch window banner.
Overeating is a disease that's affecting millions of Americans. And tonight, in part 4 of his special series of reports called Why Wait?, Dr. William Rader talks with a teenager about her compulsive overeating. Dr. Rader.
Thank you, Christine. 2 months ago, Mrs. Virginia Marino wrote to us after seeing our series on the recovery of Harry Taylor, a former Skid Row alcoholic. She told us that she had spent over $6,000 on various diets and weight-reducing plans for her 18-year-old daughter. But Kathy still remained a compulsive overeater, weighing over 400 pounds. Mrs. Marino asked if we would talk with her daughter.
I know I'm different. I look different. When to go somewhere it's different, you hear, "Mommy, Mommy, that lady's big," or "Mommy, Mommy, look at that fat lady."
When you hear that, what happens to you inside?
I don't know. Kind of hurts.
What do you think about most of the time?
What it would be like to be thin.
Tell me about those thoughts. What do you...
I don't know. I'm a clothes hog. I love clothes. And just to go out and just go to any store and buy clothes. Just buy lots of clothes. I like to roller skate. Go roller skating with my mom. And just be able to go down to the beach and go swimming without thousands of people looking at me. I can't do anything. I can't go anywhere. I'm tired after a yard of walking. What can you do weighing 400 pounds? I know I can't help myself. I know I can't. But I think I should. I think I should help myself to be thin so I wouldn't hurt my family, but I know I can't.
You have 4 sisters. They're all normal weight and attractive.
It's hard for them to take me anywhere because it's kind of embarrassing for them to be seen with me. Having someone 400 pounds around you and you weigh 98 pounds, it looks kind of funny. I don't like to hurt my mom. I know I do. I don't want to hurt her. But I'm glad it's me and not my sisters or anything.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I don't want them to have to go through what I've gone through. I just kind of think, wouldn't it be neat if tomorrow morning I woke up and thin and I can just go out and hop on a bike and go riding around.
Do you think that would ever happen to you?
I don't think I could ever just wake up and it be there, but I think I can be thin if I get help.
What would you like to say to someone watching who would say, well, why doesn't she just simply diet?
I've been on thousands of them. They don't work for me. I can't do it myself. I need help.
If I were to offer you a program where you could get help, would you be willing to try that program?
Mm-hmm. I would.
How do I know you won't just give up?
Because if I give up, I'll die. And I don't want to die.
Kathy did become involved in a program. Tomorrow you'll see part of her treatment, a psychodrama where Kathy finally confronts her fat. It doesn't matter if you're 10 or 100 pounds overweight. If you're unable to keep the weight off, you may be a compulsive overeater. If you'd like to find out if you or a loved one may have this disease and want some suggestions on what to do about it, we've prepared some information including a quick test for you to take. Here's one of the questions. Do you give too much time and thought to food? To find out more, please send a self-addressed stamped return envelope to Y. Wade, Box A, Hollywood, California, 90027. To understand what it really is to be a compulsive overeater, I suggest that you watch tomorrow. Jerry?
Dr. Rader, we will. Dr. George is going to come back in just a moment with special information for some of the storm victims in our area. We'll have that for you.
This boy is known as Little Mess because mishaps seem to follow him everywhere. So rather than drag out her heavy vacuum cleaner, his mother got the new cordless dustbuster from Black & Decker. It's light, powerful, recharges continuously, and perfect for small, fast cleanups on stairs, floors, anywhere. So if you've got a little mess around your house, get yourself a Black & Decker dustbuster. When America has a job to do, it reaches for Black & Decker.
When should you buy your new Buick, February or August? At Boulevard Buick in Long Beach, we'd like to show you that you can pay less for a Buick Regal tomorrow than if you wait till summer. We've just received a special shipment of economical V6 Regals, and while they last, they're only $64.77, less than $6,500 for the car that's taking Southern California by storm. Pick your new Regal out tomorrow for only $64.77 at Jim Willingham's Boulevard Buick in Long Beach. But hurry, February only has 29 days.
Most people have the impression that the more you pay for something, the better it must be. But the fact is that price and quality are two different things.
Take W. Simmons mattresses, for example. They're among the finest mattresses made. And now you can buy them at W. Simmons factory direct prices.
Which only goes to prove that when it comes to price, where you buy is as important as what you buy.
Call information or check the yellow pages for the nearest W. Simmons factory outlet.
This could be public enemy number one. The heat of dryers, irons, rollers can drain hair of body. Flex Instant Conditioner builds body that holds up under heat. Revlon's unique formula has balsam, protein, and 5 special conditioners that penetrate hair to build body that holds up under heat. Leaves hair healthy looking, shiny, and flexible. Get Flex Balsam and Protein Instant Conditioner in 3 formulas. Regular, extra body, and for oily hair, Flex Light from Revlon. Beautiful.
It's time now for some of you people in our audience to be volunteers of a sort. If you have any burlap bags around, the kind you put sand in, here's your chance to help a lot of people in trouble. Dr. George has more on that now.
All right, we've just learned that there's a critical shortage of sandbags in the town of San Juan Capistrano. Citizens there need the bags desperately to protect their property from invading waters. They say they do not need volunteers. They've got plenty of help, but they do need those bags. Now, if you can help, the number to call is area code 714, and the number is 761-0711. That's 714-761-0711. Chris.
Okay, very important. I know our viewers, I bet they're going to respond if they possibly can. That's the news for now. Tune in at 11 tonight when we will, of course, have the latest for you on the Southland weather and an update on the situation in Riverside County where thousands of residents have been forced out of their homes because of floods. See you at 11 o'clock.
A recent Channel 7 editorial stressed the need for an overall public transportation system for the Los Angeles area. Here speaking in rebuttal is Stanley Hart, transportation chairman for the Sierra Club.
KABC TV's position on the Wilshire Corridor starter line is badly mistaken. The proposed 18-mile subway will serve the most heavily traveled corridor in Los Angeles. It will transport the greatest number of passengers of any proposed project, reducing traffic and congestion, air pollution, accidents, and gasoline consumption. It will be an effective and attractive start to the much-needed high-capacity rail system for long-suffering Los Angeles. Time is growing short. We need all the support we can get for an accelerated design and construction schedule for this project. We agree, however, with KABC-TV that the downtown people mover is an unmitigated boondoggle. But the single most important reason for opposing the DPM is priorities. The money, $185 million of taxpayers' funds, could and should be put into mass transit where there is an actual need.